Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MudRoom, our free Uncommon Sense parenting class. How's everyone doing? I cannot believe it's already the second week of July. I really hope your summer is going well. We've had a very busy start around here. Last week, I got to go see Shania Twain at the Ottawa Blues Fest with one of my best friends while the boys stayed with their grandparents, which was like a childhood dream fulfilled. When she said, "Let's go, girls," I get kicked out at door. And this week, they're off to survival camp, which is either one of my most genius or worst parenting ideas. We'll see how it plays out. But they're learning all about building campfires and tying knots and knife skills and all that outdoorsy stuff. So they're super excited. Enough about me, though. Today, we're talking about parent coaching. Raising a child can feel like navigating a maze in the dark. The unpredictability, the tantrums, the defiance. It can be really overwhelming and leave you second guessing every move you make. But what if there was a guide, a beacon to lead the way through that maze of parenting challenges? Enter the realm of parenting coaching. This is about far more than just surviving the toddler years. It's about truly understanding your child's behavior and molding it positively to boost family harmony and happiness long term. I like to think of it like pouring a really firm foundation for your child to build their life on. But there's often a lot of confusion about what a parenting coach really does. How can they help you? How can they help your child's behavior? And most importantly, how can they provide you with solutions to the struggles you're facing right now? So in this episode, we'll unravel the mystery of parenting coaching. We'll delve into how parenting coaches can be instrumental in transforming your child's behavior and cultivating a peaceful, harmonious family life. So if you're feeling stuck in your parenting journey, stay tuned as we illuminate the path towards a better understanding of your child and a more fulfilling parenting experience. Before we get into it, however, if you're new around here, hi, I'm Elena Robinson, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your kids are misbehaving and how to fix it without stickers, counting to 3, or losing your shit. I'm your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids who listen. While you're catching this episode, if you find it helpful, please give it a like or a subscribe or leave a comment. We put this out on multiple platforms, so you may have different options depending on where you're catching it. But when you interact with it in any way, you help to boost the signal so that other parents who need our help can find it. Okay, let's get into it. Navigating the choppy seas of parenting can be a really daunting task, especially when your little ones are having huge meltdowns. They display defiance, they won't follow directions, they might get aggressive or struggle with their social skills. This is where a parenting coach can step in like a trusted guide to steer you towards calmer waters. A parenting coach, typically equipped with expertise in child psychology or child development, or hopefully both, is your decipherer of the often confusing language of your child's actions. Meltdowns, defiance, aggression, refusing to follow directions, or anything else. However, it's essential to understand that a parenting coach isn't a regulated industry. That is to say, there's no official governing body certifying parent coaches. This means it's important to scrutinize the qualifications of any potential parenting coach. The title of certified parenting coach is often obtained by completing a company-specific course. So these courses are generally open to anyone, and they provide training on a particular coaching method. Therefore, a certification doesn't always guarantee expertise in child development or any professional background in the field whatsoever. When searching for a right coach, I strongly advise looking beyond certifications. Instead, consider their experience, their background, and the methodologies they use. For instance, I didn't choose to go the route of company certification. Instead, my approach to parent coaching is influenced by my decade-long career in early intervention as a developmental specialist. My method is born of years of refining practical, real-world techniques with real kids. Among my qualifications, you'll find certifications in Schenker Self-Reg, Proactive and Collaborative Solutions, HAN and Early Communication Development, and Pivotal Response Therapy. I'm also a registered early childhood educator, which is a professionally regulated designation. So the bottom line is, while certification can provide some measure of a coach's training, it isn't the be-all and end-all. A coach might not have a typical certification, but could still be highly qualified, like myself, and vice versa. At the heart of a coach's approach should be evidence-based strategies and methodologies that have been tested and proven to work. They shouldn't just be offering anecdotal advice. Instead, a coach should be providing tools and techniques that have been shown to be effective in managing and improving a child's behavior. They should also be able to explain why they're suggesting a strategy and provide the evidence behind it. The goal of a parenting coach is not just to quell meltdowns or resolve immediate conflicts, but to give you a really deep understanding of your child's unique personality and developmental needs. We help you understand why your child might be acting out or struggling and provide you with strategies to support your child in the best possible way. The goal of a parenting coach should always be to work their way out of a job. One of the most critical areas when a parenting coach can make a significant impact is in dealing with defiance, emotional dysregulation, lack of executive skills, aggression, and social skills. These aspects often present significant challenges for parents, and it's not always clear how to address them effectively. But with the guidance of a really good parenting coach, you can gain the skills and knowledge to navigate these challenges and guide your child towards a healthier, more productive behavior that will grow with them. So in a nutshell, a parenting coach is a lifeline for parents who feel like they're out at sea. They help turn the overwhelming task of parenting into a more manageable, more rewarding journey by giving you the tools and knowledge to understand your child better and foster a more harmonious family life. It's one thing to talk about the potential benefits of a parenting coach, but it's another to see those benefits actually play out in real life. So let's explore some anonymized case studies that illustrate the transformative effect I've seen parent coaching have on children's behavior and family dynamics. So one of my first cases, in fact, one of the first cases that made me fall in love with coaching parents was a family with a young 3-year-old who is blind from birth. So he has two older siblings who, when I started working with the family, confessed that they were absolutely terrified of him. So this little guy's first response to every interaction was to bite, scratch, scream, and kick. He was throwing food at meals. He wouldn't sleep unless his dad physically laid on top of him and pinned him to the mattress. He wasn't able to navigate his home or start preschool because his orientation and mobility specialist, which is the person that teaches people who are blind how to move around and not like bump into stuff, couldn't even get near him. And mom and dad had resorted to carrying him everywhere. They also precluded the ability to toilet train him because he couldn't get to the bathroom by himself. So I worked with them for about a year, identifying and mitigating his stressors, getting a regulation cycle set up, setting boundaries, acclimatizing him to sleeping in his own bed, getting him potty trained, and integrating the suggestions his occupational therapist and orientation and mobility specialist had recommended into their daily life and routines. So it's important to note he had these services from birth, but he hadn't been making much progress with them because mom and dad didn't have the know-how to implement the supports that therapists had suggested for the home. Once they started working with me, we got him to the point where he was able to engage with his family and therapists without these big meltdowns, without biting or hitting or kicking. I helped mom and dad find a preschool that was able to meet his needs so they could begin getting him some socialization with other children because he didn't have any friends because his parents couldn't handle taking him out in public. So once he was calm, we could then take that step. Then we worked on getting him sleeping in his own bed and toilet training. By the time we finished working together, he was just a totally different kid. He had friends. His language was improving. He was able to independently navigate his home, his preschool, and a couple community environments. He was eating, and when he had food he didn't like, he was politely putting it aside. He was sleeping independently through the night, and his siblings were enjoying spending time with him and really getting to know him for the first time. In another case, I was working with a mom of 3 boys during the pandemic. No special needs whatsoever, just typical little boys who were driving their parents up the damn wall. Never listening to directions, constantly hurting each other, daring each other to do dangerous shit, using constant potty language, blowing through boundaries. Mom said she never had a minute to herself because she was constantly in crisis mode playing referee. And this was a really conscientious mom. She'd already talked to their doctor. She had all kids screened for ADHD. She had checked them for sensory issues and autism. She tried family therapy, but she said the behavior actually got kind of worse. So again, we started by looking at each individual boy and seeing what their sensory needs actually were. There was no issues, but everybody has sensory preferences and needs sensory input. So we used that information to craft a regulation cycle for all 3 kids. We set up family boundaries and systems and routines to make their home life more predictable and make it easier for mom to teach them in the moment. We set up visuals to increase their independence. We came up with some tailored strategies to address some secondary behaviors that came up once they were all regulated. Her feedback was that within just a month of working together, and this was like after we'd barely scratched the surface strategy-wise, just a month in, 75% of the behaviors that had pushed her to work with me had been resolved. That's incredible. And within 6 months, she was just refining and tweaking and troubleshooting as they got older. One hit the limbic leap, the other was going through the age of reason cognitive leap. But rather than throw her hands up and go, well, this isn't working anymore, we were able to build off the strategies that we already had in place and just modify them as the kids' needs changed. So my third case today is a family who had 2 existing kids, a boy and a girl, and mom was pregnant with her 3rd child. She's also a home daycare provider, so she had an additional 3 kids in her home with her daily. The problem was that her daughter was having 10 meltdowns or more a day. She was aggressive. She acted helpless whenever she was asked to do something, whether it was like paint a picture or, eating food or simply standing up so that mom and dad could put her pants on. When mom contacted me, she was a bit panicked. She was struggling day to day, keeping the kids in her care safe. And she was really worried about what was going to happen when she gave birth and there was a new baby in the house. So again, totally typical child, but their behavior was just a really big problem. And mom had no idea what else to try. She used all the strategies that she'd used as a daycare provider. Nothing was changing. So again, we started with figuring out what her daughter found regulating and integrated that into her daily routine. We reviewed the daily routine to ensure that it was not just meeting her daughter's needs, but the needs of all the kids in her care. And then we made that routine really nice and concrete so the kids knew what to expect. We taught her daughter to release her aggression in a safe space and helped build up her vocabulary so she could express her needs without resorting to violence. And we worked on building on some of those weak executive skills so that she could be more independent in everyday tasks. By the time mom gave birth, she wasn't scared of bringing the baby into the home anymore. We prepared her daughter, and she absolutely loved her new baby brother and transitioned beautifully into her role of the big sister. So each of these families was initially overwhelmed and distressed by their child's behavior, feeling unsure of how to handle the situation. However, my expertise as a parenting coach guided them to understand their child's behavior better and implement effective strategies to address it. The result was not just improved behavior, but also improved confidence in their parenting and a more harmonious family life. So these case studies illustrate the significant impact a parenting coach can have. While each child and family is really unique, the guidance from a skilled coach can lead to profound transformations and a positive shift in your family dynamics. So, okay, let's say that you've chosen to embark on the journey with a parenting coach. Kudos to you. It's a brave step, one that shows your dedication to transforming not only your child's behavior, but functioning better as a family unit. But how do you ensure you're getting the most out of your parent coaching experience? So the key to maximizing your benefit from a parenting coach lies in 3 key elements: openness, active participation, and implementation. So let's start with openness. From the get-go, be open and transparent with your parenting coach. They're your ally, not a critic. I can't tell you how many of my new clients start every interaction with me by apologizing and putting their efforts to date down. It's not necessary. I don't just believe kids do well if they can. I believe all people do well if they can. You don't have to explain or apologize for why your best effort didn't work. Discuss your struggles, your fears, your triumphs, and your goals. The more information I have, the better equipped I'll be to help you. Next, let's talk active participation. So parenting coaching isn't a spectator sport. You're in it, knee deep. Just the act of hiring a parenting coach isn't going to fix absolutely anything. You need to do the work. That means asking questions, taking notes, discussing your observations, and sharing your feelings. Your active participation will help make your sessions more productive and insightful and give me more information so that I can give you better suggestions and strategies. After running Parentability for going on 9 years now, I can honestly say that the clients that show up to the coaching calls and post regularly in the community are the ones who make the most progress. And finally, implementation. This is where the rubber meets the road. The strategies and techniques suggested by your coach are meant to be used and consistently. It's essential to apply them in your daily life, even when it feels challenging. Remember, change takes time and patience, but the rewards are really tremendous. Even when you implement and it doesn't work out, that's more data for me to use to refine and customize the strategies that I'm suggesting. Most strategies are not going to work the first time, and that's okay. Again, every child and family is unique, and as I get to know my clients better, I'm able to suggest more tailored strategies for them. So even if you fail, you're still moving forward. Communication is so vital for the coaching relationship. If you're unsure about a strategy, ask. If a technique isn't working as you expected it to, discuss it. Your parenting coach is there to support you to adjust and tweak strategies as necessary. Remember, it's a journey, and there may be bumps along the way, and that's okay. Parenting coaching can be a transformative resource for families and navigating the challenging terrain of toddler, preschool, and kindergartner behavior. The key is understanding the profound impact a parenting coach can have, not just on your child's behavior, but also on your confidence and overall dynamic of your family. Remember, the decision to work with a parenting coach is not a sign of failure, but rather a sign of strength. It shows your commitment to nurturing your child's growth and promoting a peaceful family environment. So embrace this opportunity and let the transformation begin. By debunking myths and focusing on effective, tailored strategies, you can not only manage challenging behaviors, but also unlock your child's really true potential. So here's to stronger families, happier kids, and a more harmonious household. That's the transformative power of a parenting coach. For those who would like more information on working with me, I strongly suggest taking my free class, the 1-hour pre-recorded online class where I go over the 3 biggest mistakes every parent I've ever met makes and the framework that I use when coaching families to create breakthroughs like the ones I mentioned before. You can find it at prnt.link/free class, all one word. If after taking that class, you think I'd be a good fit for your family, you'll have the opportunity to enroll in Parentability and we can get to work. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time for another Uncommon Sense parenting class.